Whether it's for style or exceptional off-road performance, the Wrangler has always been a popular choice in North America. A legend that lasts for almost 4 decades. This SUV has never lost its original nature, but the recent revival of the Ford Bronco, which is now as popular as Wrangler, made Jeep management think about how to make this legend even better. And the mid-cycle refresh is here, with numerous upgrades that will help the 2024 Jeep Wrangler set new standards in the market. Mild but effective updates. It's hard to update something that already looks amazing, especially something as legendary as a Wrangler. Therefore, seeing Jeep designers making no radical changes to this facelift was kinda expected. Instead, the changes are rather mild, but pretty effective, we would say. The iconic styling is still there, and the only major change at the front is the new grille, whereas the legendary 7 slots gets reshaped and come with a new pattern. The headlights have been updated as well, and you can also notice that the front bumper has been slightly revised. One of the reasons for the bumper redesign was to meet the latest safety regulations for abroad markets, while the second one, way more obvious, was because of the installation of the new, fully crash-tested 8,000-pound Warn winch that you can get in the Rubicon model. The rest of the exterior remains largely the same, though it's worth mentioning that almost every trim level gets new sets of wheels. In our humble opinion, Jeep did a great job and brought the right portion of changes. Full float rear axle. The Wrangler has never been famous for its on-road ride. Moreover, it still acts as a classical SUV from the early 2000s, with plenty of body roll and almost no wheel feedback. But on the other hand, once you get off the road, you start realizing what's Wrangler's natural habitat. This SUV never lacked off-road capabilities. Moreover, it's always been a class leader, and it will retain that status thanks to the 2024 updates. The overall suspension setup remains largely the same, with solid axles on both ends, but that doesn't mean there are no major changes. Instead of a semi-float, the updated model gets a heavy-duty full-float Dana rear axle. It doesn't make the ride quality better, nor change the off-road performance drastically. No, this change is mostly for durability and reliability. Thanks to this technical solution, the rear axle now floats separately from the wheel hubs, and that change improves the stiffness, durability, and repairability of the rear axle. Speaking of repairability, one of the key features of this technical solution is that even if the axle shaft breaks, the wheel remains in its place. The new axle is part of the standard equipment for the 2024 Wrangler Rubicon, and besides improved durability and reliability, this technical solution also increases max towing capacity. While the 2023 Rubicon is rated at 3,500 pounds, the 2024 model can tow up to 5,000 pounds. Other than the new rear axle, the 2024 Wrangler Rubicon continues in the same way, with numerous upgrades that make it one of the best off-roaders around. Some of the highlights are goodies like heavy-duty shock absorbers, locking front and rear differentials, an electronic sway bar disconnect, rock rails, 33-inch all-terrain tires, 17-inch beadlock wheels, etc. If that's not rugged enough for you, the company offers a few more upgrades, including mud terrain tires. Interior for the 21st century. We always like Wrangler's interior because of its nice blend of modern and retro aesthetics, but somehow, this SUV has always been lagging behind the competition in certain aspects, especially in terms of tech features. This finally changes with the 2024 model, which brings the new infotainment system as one of the biggest novelties. All models now come standard with the new 12.3-inch touchscreen, which looks like a monumental improvement if we consider that the base model has been equipped with a 5-inch unit so far, while the biggest screen was good for 8.4 inches. But the size increase isn't the only major improvement. This is a completely new version of the infotainment system, with new graphics, quicker response, and more features. Speaking of more features, the Wrangler finally gets wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, while the new in-dash navigation system now includes more than 2,000 trails. Despite the new tech features, Jeep decided to keep some of the aspects of the cabin old school. For example, the instrument cluster remains analog, while the dashboard keeps pretty much the same design. On the other hand, Jeep finally introduces new 12-way adjustable power seats for the first time in the Wrangler. Jeep engineers made a few more substantial improvements on the inside, especially in terms of sound insulation. There's a new acoustic glass at the front, along with sound deadening foam in the windshield header. front cowl, and B-pillars, while the carpet is thicker than before. All this resulted in a 5 decibel quieter ride and, according to officials, a 50% better speaking clarity among passengers. Plug-in hybrid gets more accessible. The plug-in hybrid version has been around for a while, and from today's perspective, it looks like Jeep management made the right decision to offer an electrified Wrangler. With more than 43,000 units sold in the last year, the Wrangler 4xe is the most popular plug-in hybrid in North America, thanks to the nice blend of driving dynamics and efficiency. Logically, the management decided to make the plug-in hybrid more accessible, because if there was one thing about the last year's model we didn't like, that was the fact that the 4xe was reserved for higher trim levels only. Starting with the 2024 Wrangler, the plug-in hybrid will be available already in the Sport S trim, with a starting price of a little bit over $51,000. Just like in the last year's model, the plug-in hybrid powertrain will be available in Willies and Rubicon trims, and for the first time, in the even more rugged Rubicon X trim. In terms of specs, things remain unchanged. The Wrangler 4xe continues with the same setup that combines a 2.0-liter Turbo 4 engine with a single electric motor for a quite impressive max output of 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, while the massive 17.4 kilowatt-hour battery ensures up to 22 miles of the all-electric range. As for the rest of the lineup, things also remain unchanged. Base models continue with the good old 3.6-liter V6 with 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, and just like before, this naturally aspirated unit remains the only one available with a 6-speed manual. The rest of the lineup comes only with an 8-speed automatic, and one of the engines is a 2.0-liter Turbo 4 with 270 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. The diesel version has been gone for a while, so the only one left in the lineup is the super capable 6.4-liter Hemi V8, reserved for the Rubicon 392 model. With a max output of 470 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, it is the most powerful engine in the class. The new Willies. Another notable improvement worth mentioning is the upgrade of the Willies model. So far, this has been nothing more than an affordable appearance package, characterized by various fancy details. But starting with the 2024 model year, the Willies becomes much more than that. It becomes a pretty serious off-roader. The first thing you'll notice is the more rugged look, thanks to the wide stance axles, high riding fenders, and rock rails. But the new model also benefits from 33-inch BF Goodrich all-terrain TA-KO2 tires and a notably higher ground clearance, which also improves approach and departure angles. Finally, there is the electronically locking rear differential, which turns this package into a quite interesting alternative to the Rubicon. Various off-road upgrades aren't the only reason why we think this could be a very popular choice. There's also the matter of configurability, as the Willies will be available in a wide range of variants, either as a 2- or 4-door model, with a wide powertrain range that starts with the V6 and manual transmission and ends with the 4xe plug-in hybrid. Safety improvements. Like most off-road oriented models, the Wrangler has never been particularly impressive in terms of safety. The current generation has often been criticized for possible head and neck injuries, and it looks like Jeep has finally decided to address this issue. First of all, both rows do not come standard with side curtain airbags. Furthermore, the second row gets new seatbelts with pre-tensioners and load limiters. How much this is going to improve the overall safety, we should find out in the next IIHS test. As for the active safety features, Jeep has decided to carry on in the same way, leaving buyers to decide whether they want more advanced systems or not. Therefore, base models once again come with nothing more than the rear view camera. On the other hand, the list of upgrades includes blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, adaptive cruise controls, parking sensors, and many more. Release date and price. The updated Jeep Wrangler can already be ordered, and the first deliveries are expected soon. As for the price, this refresh has not brought drastic increases, at least for the base model. The 2-door version starts at around $33,700, which is around $700 higher compared to the last year's model. On the other hand, the Rubicon 392 remains the most expensive variant on offer, with a price tag that gets pretty close to $90,000. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.